Say hello and start.
Okay. Um, Hello and welcome to today's Wisdom Circle. My name is Helen Prince, and we are talking about alignment and abundance and how to manifest with confidence and clarity. So, today is going to be great for anyone who has ever created a vision board or who has ever said all the affirmations or had a dream journal, done all of the things, all of the right things, but still found yourself going, well, where's my stuff? When's this going to manifest? When are things going to get better? So if that's you, you are in the right place. We're going to be going a little bit beyond the surface. We're going to be exploring what is missing. So what are those little things that you're not quite doing? You're missing the mark. You're almost there. We're going to talk about those little things that are going to help you get that next step further. And I'm joined by three lovely ladies here who are going to share their perspectives, their life experiences, and also some tools that you can use to help in your manifesting life. Okay. Alrighty. So let me introduce these lovely ladies here. We have Rosemary Evangelista. So Rosemary has been guiding people out of confusion into clarity. We'll get you to share a little bit of your own story as well, because it's quite fascinating, Rosemary. And you've had your own challenges. And I think people are going to take a lot away from that. There's going to be hope that they can do it as well. We have Charlotte, who is a healer and a herbalist, and Charlotte's been doing that for over 30 years. Lots of experience there, and has been helping people break free of the patterns that have been holding them back from their health prosperity or having that abundance in their health area. And Charlotte, I will get you to share your story as well, because it is quite fascinating. We all have incredible stories, don't we? And I think the more that we can share those stories as well is going to help people to really make that connection and be able to move forward. And last but not least, we have Denise Blackney here with me. So Denise has been supporting people releasing their trauma, reconnecting back to themselves, to that love, to that joy, to that passion that everyone knows is in us. Sometimes that trauma just clouds things a little bit and makes it hard to see the forest for the trees. But today, what we're going to do all together is just look at what works well. And I love that we've got so many different perspectives on this panel today because there is no one way to do this. You're going to hear lots of different perspectives, and you're going to hear something that will resonate with you and leave you feeling clearer, feeling more confident, and even just having that next step, that clarity for that next step, because I think that's what is really important. We don't have to know the whole journey. We just need to know how to take that next step, then the next step, and the next step. And then we get more connected to ourselves, more connected to that power that we've got within. And that's when the manifesting of things that we really want, because we're always manifesting, it's often just not what it's more what we don't want than what we do want. So we're going to get you manifesting more of what you do want. All righty. So that was a very long introduction, ladies. Thank you for sticking with me there. So let me start with, okay, Rosemary, because I can see you first there. Would you like to just introduce yourself, share a little bit about your own journey and the what was the turning point for you where you realized that manifesting wasn't about just wishing and hoping, that something happened along the way?
Wow. So yes, it has been a journey. And like you said, I am Rosemary Evangelista, and I'm the founder of the Riva Experience. Riva came to me from something that I hadn't even planned on. I was working as an assistant for my friend in real estate, and I thought, oh, I need some kind of a business plan name, not business plan, a business name. So I thought, well, I'll go Rosemary Evangelista Virtual Assistant, Riva. It did nothing
Nice.
for me. It did nothing. So I thought, okay, let me Google it and see what comes up with Riva. Turns out it's the name of a goddess that brings us from darkness to light with courage and strength. And I got goosebumps. Okay, great. Now I have this wonderful name what do I do with it? So my journey, 3 years, maybe it's 3.5 years now, brought me to the Riva experience. I didn't want it to be Riva Company Inc. or anything corporate like that, because it is an experience and it's my experience over 70 decades. So
Wow. It's
yeah,
amazing.
it's been a long journey. And so I guess my message would be like, whether you're 40 and over, it's never too late to investigate, discover who you are, what your purpose is, and then the manifesting will come because now you have clarity.
Absolutely.
So then there was a near-death experience, and that was the initial turning. That was way, way back in 94, I believe. But it's taken me this long, and I had to go through all those decades of learning and going through the challenges and beating up on myself, thinking, oh, you can't do it because you're constantly failing. But they're learning steps. So I hope that
Yeah.
answered the question. And I'm sure we can talk a little bit more later on. But
We will dive more into it, but I love that as well because it takes as long as it takes for
yeah,
each person. I think that's really important for everyone to understand. There's no right way, there's no one way, there's your way. And being okay with that, I think, is such a powerful thing to do. And then having people who have already gone through what you've gone through, I think is also very uplifting to know that, okay, well, they've done it. That means I can do it. It's possible. And that's all we need. We just need that little bit of hope that it's possible. So fantastic. Thank you so much. And I love that little synchronicity, these little happy accidents when you found out what Riva actually meant. I think that is beautiful. And that just paired in nicely with what you're doing. So thank you.
yeah.
Welcome and thank you. All right, Charlotte, can you tell us a little bit about your path and how you got to where you are? What was one big aha moment for you?
Yes, I'm Charlotte Mitchell, founder of Consummate Health. Yes, I have been in this area all my life, since I was very young, actually. Um, I would say what I've learned over time is that one can get in one's own way, and that's usually the problem. So when you keep holding back or coming back to your intuition, and you just listen to yourself, you listen to what feels right, you follow the path that feels right, then actually often you find things flow. I mean, yes, do things come up to teach you things? Of course, absolutely. But things flow in a different way. And I think that when I had problems was when I slightly distrusted the process. And then things were harder for me. So I planted my first herb garden when I was 12, in the Norfolk countryside in the UK. And I used to grow all these different herbs, and I excitedly used to make creams and, shampoos. And I used to even make my own toothpaste. I used to bake in the Arga. It was sage and bicarbonate. And I even used to, make the containers and things. I used to be quite creative when I was younger.
Wow.
And it was, it was fun. And from there, I actually had an uncle, interestingly enough, who was on the board of the School of Herbal Medicine. And so when I was thinking at sort of 17, what do I want to do? Where do I want to go with this? He spoke to me. For some reason, he happened to come for a family, meal, and we talked, and he said, "Oh, I just think this would really suit you." And so I just went straight into that. So I've had a lot of flow in my life, but yes, I have to say, when I haven't, it's usually because I've got in the way or I've distrusted the process.
Yes. And first of all, I would love to be able to grow a herb garden. I'm very good at killing plants and neglecting them. So I've successfully grown chives, which is probably the easiest. Oh well. But kudos to you. And doing that at 12, I think, is amazing. And again, you had this coincidence where your uncle just talked to you seemingly out of the blue. But this is the thing, these things that happen, seemingly out of the blue, there is a reason behind that, and we will go deep into that. And I also love that you talked about mistrusting, and I'm going to dive a little bit deeper on that one with you in the next one, because it is really one of the things where you're 100% right. We get in our own way, and then we start to doubt ourselves and second guess, and we don't trust our own decisions. And a lot of that is then causes us to manifest what we don't want rather than what we do want. So thank you so much, Charlotte. Love that. And Denise.
Yeah, mine's been such a roller coaster of a life, and the so many lessons. And I think the biggest turning point for me in my life, I'd been married, and it wasn't a very good marriage at such a young age, and had a child. And then I was able to get away from, and then I married again a few years later, and I'm happily still married. But that was, the starting of. But in my second marriage, when I had my other two children, I because I always had this vision of this is what life is to be, is that we get married, have children. That's what I was brought up with. Get married, have children, that's your life. And I really jumped on board with that. I thought, I could see things, even though even my home life with my mum and dad was really rough as well. But that was the picture. I thought, that's portrayed everywhere. And then when that happened, it was like I had my children. It's like, okay, what now? I don't know what to do with myself now. Yes, I have my children, and that was at the age of 30. Because I always said if I haven't had my children by 30, I wouldn't be having any. So from there, I suppose I had all these mini businesses, just all different types of mini business, thinking I could find my spark in life. And one of them I would do, and I go, oh yeah, this is great, but this is not what I want to do. So I've had many different things in my life that I've done, and the greatest gift out of them has been all the lessons, and really shown me who I was. And the last job that I ever had was about 5 years ago, like going to work, 5 or 6 years ago now. And it was, I was managing a whole team. And that's the biggest thing. I went for the job not thinking I'd get it, because I thought, well, who knows? I'll just put it in. And I got it. And I learned so much for myself with that in self-management and managing others. And then I felt, because it was in a big industrial place, and I actually had an accident there that rolled down some stairs, which were all covered in steel. So I really did myself a bit of damage there, and
Yes, you
I
did.
realized that this is not where I need to be. So it's really taken me those hard knocks to sort of put me back onto where I should be. Me keep searching, okay, this is not really what I want to do. And then after that, I came into self-healing. And that's where my journey, I think it started just before I had the accident, but it's like how you hold on to things because of that fear and not trusting yourself that I can do it. Because I started 5 years before looking into and doing all these modalities. I think I've done about 20 or 30 modalities into self-healing and, quantum and all that sort of stuff. And it took that for me to go, right, this is it. This is the telling sign that I've got to change my path. So, yeah, just all the different things that lead to that. And, it's taken me all this time. It's taken from 30, and I'm turning 60 this year. So, it's been it has been a beautiful journey with many tears, all the emotions, but that's given me the ability to be able to share everything across a really vast board of people and ways and all that sort of stuff. So I'm really grateful for that. So yeah.
Absolutely. And that's beautiful to hear that you do have that gratitude. And everyone has stuff in their life. Everyone has different things that go on to varying degrees. But to be able to get through it and then feel that gratitude is also very important when in the whole manifesting side of things. And you've all talked about, life is going to be up and down. There's no just smooth sailing. That would be quite boring. We think we want the no drama and no anything going on. We do for bits, but we need that little bit of a shake up every now and then for us to get to our next level. Now, it could be a massive thing, it could be just a little tiny bump. It doesn't have to be huge, but the ups and downs is what makes life really interesting, I think. And it gives us such great resilience and gives us such great stories and experiences that we can then pass on to other people. So thank you so much, ladies, for sharing all of that. Let's get back onto what the people are here to hear about, and is about how do we get these vision boards and these affirmations to work more in our favor. So, Charlotte, from your perspective, what is that missing link? What's that thing? Might be a few things that helps someone from, that wishing and hoping and doing all what they think is right to actually manifesting what they want.
Basically the subconscious mind. So what is going on in your subconscious mind compared with your conscious mind? So we know that the subconscious mind processes so many more bits of data a second compared with the conscious mind. So your conscious mind can say, yes, I'd like to go to Timbuktu in Mali or something, or you might want to find a partner or something like that. But if there are belief systems or some programming in your subconscious mind that's saying, but I've got no money, it's impossible. Or, well, it didn't work out last time. So, for the relationship, so I don't think it's going to work out this time. If you've got that counteracting, then unfortunately, the subconscious mind is the part that tends to win out. So then you can, for years and years and years, be doing the affirmations, doing everything. Although affirmations do start to change things because they do start to reset the programming in the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. But sometimes you need more than that. Sometimes you need more than affirmations. You need something sort of slightly more direct to start changing the belief system that you have. And then the second thing I think that is incredibly important, which is also linked to the subconscious mind, is repetition. So what are you surrounded by? If you're surrounded by subliminal messages that are constantly saying life is hard or it's difficult, or actually just maybe trust in somebody else, trust in an external force, not yourself. If you're constantly picking up, or your subconscious mind is constantly picking up those cues, it's going to be very difficult for you to achieve what you want. And then it becomes very frustrating. You think there's something wrong, but it isn't. It's just that there needs to be an alteration of the beliefs, the thoughts that you are embodying, and maybe your emotions as well.
Absolutely. It's so important, isn't it? Because we do a lot of the time, we're just walking around on autopilot. We're driving along. It's like, oh, I didn't actually want to be here, but it's all automatic. And this is how powerful that unconscious is. Once you've learned something, it goes into the filing cabinet and it just happens. So yes, definitely looking at those patterns, looking at those beliefs, and then doing something about it to change it. And there's lots of different things that people can do about that. And what's one tip you can give, Charlotte, for people if they're just starting on that journey and they think, oh yeah, I do that? What's one tip you can give them today that they can start to turn that corner?
I would say start thinking about spending time with people, in the company of people, and that can be face to face, or it can be obviously online, that align with what you want. So, if you want increased wealth, start, spending time with people who are financially abundant. Because Once you start doing that, that makes that particular set of situation or scenario safe for you. Because the subconscious mind absolutely loves safety. And if you're used to being in a group or with people who actually sort of don't really want to be financially abundant, maybe don't think that consciously, but subconsciously it's like, well, we're in this position, it's safer here. You are going to stay in that mindset and you're going to stay in that position. So I would say, yeah, find the people that align with your wishes and dreams.
Absolutely. And the beautiful thing about today is you don't have to physically find them and go and have a coffee with them. There are podcasts, there's so much stuff on YouTube. You get to choose what you put your eyes on and what you put your ears on and where you spend your time. So that is a fantastic tip. Just choose differently. Start to choose differently. And then that's the only way you're going to change anything is to make a different decision and then take it down that path. Be patient with yourself. You don't have to learn it all overnight. It's not just going to like that. Some things it will, but if they're those really deeply entrenched beliefs, they're going to take a little bit more time. So I love that. Thank you very much, Charlotte. And Rosemary, what do you think from your perspective and from the work that you've done with people? What do you feel is the biggest missing link that stops people from manifesting what they want?
I think it comes down to expand a little bit what Charlotte said is becoming aware. How do you become aware of what those subconscious thoughts are? I struggled for decades with that. And Charlotte said it too about the environment. Oh my gosh. So my marriage, the different numerous jobs that I did, everything was not what I wanted. So my subconscious was going in an opposite direction of what I needed to be. Once I became aware and I made a choice. When you make that choice, now you have to take action. So what do you do? What's the action that you can do? Again, you mentioned YouTube. There are so many things on YouTube. And so my routine is in the morning, I will go on YouTube and find some beautiful meditative music that I can play in the background, help me to meditate. Because like a lot of people, when you think of meditating, your mind's so busy and you can't meditate. But if you have something to calm that energy, calm the vibrations that are going in the head, because my brain is very busy. Like I'll be sitting here thinking of some idea and all of a sudden 3 more ideas come on, right? So it's hard to meditate. So I will pick some meditative thing, which I'll play all day as I'm working, as a matter of fact. When I go for a walk in nature, that's another way to help because now you're not focused on the TV or somebody coming in, you're focused on nature and the energies that you can get from nature. That's my go-to. While I'm there, I'm also listening to this wonderful meditation. Kenneth Soros, I think that's how you pronounce his name. There's one in particular, and it's positive affirmations. He also says in there, it's up to you to take the action.
Yes.
And that resonates, right? So, and I also, I teach, oh my gosh, my brain just, I'm like talking about busy brain. Heart mapping and mandala coloring. It's huge on helping you find what you want to do, where you can direct yourself to help you get clarity to properly manifest, because you don't want to manifest the things that you don't want. Right. So there's different modalities out there that I use, and just I still struggle with that. Right. And it's not something, like you said, it's not something that's going to come, oh, I'm manifesting and, oh, I'm going to get $1 million. It's little steps. And the little synchronicities, the little blessings, when you focus on that, those are little manifestations that you put out there, maybe subconsciously, but becoming aware will make that the next bigger manifestation.
I love that, Rosemary. You said so many fantastic things in there. The awareness is key. If you're not aware, you can't change anything. If you're not aware that something is not working or is a problem, you can't change it. So awareness is key. And then you've got to take the action. But that is so powerful because you're not waiting for somebody else to do it for you or, or doing it the way that you want to. You are the one in control. So incredibly powerful. And you talked about the vibration as well and what you focus on. So these are the things that cause us we are always manifesting, all right? Every thought, emotion, action, everything is a manifestation. Everything that comes into our life is a manifestation. When we can focus on things, and I struggle with meditation as well because my brain's just going, you can't turn your brain off, so don't try to turn your brain off. But if you can give it something else to focus on that makes you feel good, that raises your vibration. And the law of attraction says, I can send you things that match that vibration. So if you're vibrating up here in the feel good, here's more things to make you feel good. If you're focused on that thing that you don't want and it makes you feel bad, you're vibrating down here. Well, I can only bring you stuff that matches that vibration. So giving yourself that, you said, going for a walk in nature, finding something that you like to focus on with the meditation, all of those things help you to feel good, which raises your vibration. So brilliant. Thank you.
There's one more thing I forgot to mention, and you
Sure.
triggered my memory to help you change your focus. So I love things that sparkle, right? The sun glistening on the water, or even in the concrete or asphalt, when the sun hits it, there's little sparkles. So I see that when I walk. I tell people, when you're having a hard time to change your focus, or there's something you don't want to, think of something that sparkles. Pick a sparkle that can change your focus now because it'll make you smile and you'll think of something happy. So I will give out little acrylic diamonds from the dollar store. Here's a little token to remind you to look for the sparkle in your day to change your focus. So
nice. I love it. I love it. And that's one tiny thing that you can do. And the more you do that, the more that becomes your habit.
Yes.
And this is how you get that momentum going. That's a brilliant idea. I love that. Thank you, Rosemary. And Denise, what do you feel from your perspective is the missing link for people in their manifesting?
I really love the awareness. That's really a big one for me, and intention. So paying attention to yourself, and when in an intention as well as when I'm aware of myself and seeing myself instead of seeing myself from the perspective of the world. So really coming back inwards into myself and really saying, what am I triggered by or what am I moved by? So all that plays a part in who I am. So when I'm setting intentions, if I'm setting intentions of, I want to feel good every day. So my intention is to wake up and feel good. My intention is to wake up and do a meditation. My intention is, if I'm setting that every day, and then I get to see the feedback of that, and I get to see the knockback of that as well, the ickiness if I feel, I get up and say, oh no, I don't want to meditate. But why don't I want to meditate? So it's that real inquiry of self, really seeing, because we inquire for everybody else, oh, but the meditation will help you really well and you'll do really well at it and you'll get really, this from it. But then we don't do it ourselves. Because I've woken up now, I'm running a bit late or I'm still tired, I want to sleep in, all that sort of stuff. So it's that really setting that intention and seeing what the feedback is for myself. And when I'm setting up vision boards and when I'm going out for a walk, not, oh, this is really hard. Because sometimes we go, oh, walking, it hurts my feet, I'm sore here, I'm sore there. But really taking in the space around you. Oh, yes, my foot's sore, but it's another step to where I want to go. It's a step into the beauty of the trees. It's a step into listening to the birds. It's, really stepping into that is, to me, that's the healing of ourselves. Because I'm stepping in. What is the foot? Well, I don't want to step in. I don't want to step into what I want. So I go from there and create that curiosity and ask those questions of myself. So it's really that awareness and taking the action, like Charlotte said, and, answering yourself and really coming inwards instead of asking outside of yourself all the time. So it's really it's a loving thing to do, to come back to ourselves and really question ourselves, and that is because we're always saying, what do I want to do? But I want this and I want that. Well, that's where your inquiry begins, and setting intentions from those places. And like you said, it's just step by step, little steps to get me to where I need to be. And as Rosemary said, it's a journey. And we do take steps forward and we take steps back. So it's just sitting back and going back, okay, so what's the lesson here for me? What is it that I didn't give myself or do for myself? Or was the need, was it that I didn't really want that? Because like I said, for myself, I've been in so many different jobs. I've gone from making bridesmaids dresses to pet dogs beds to managing people to working with disability. So it's really a vast rate. And in all of those, they gave me something, but also showed me that that's not where my journey lied. But I had to go through that journey to see what was there for me and what was the feedback. And, so it's a give and take of self and gentleness, and just setting those intentions of, I'm going to get up today and this is my intention. My intention is to help somebody today. My intention is to give nurture to myself today. My intention is meditation. So, and actioning it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic. And there are a few things there that I want to highlight that you said. It is having that intention. That's that clarity. And if it doesn't work, that's okay as well. When you're doing that curiosity, well, why is it that I don't want to? Well, because I didn't sleep well and I'm a little bit tired. That's okay. Don't beat up on yourself. Just, okay, there's always like, maybe I can do a meditation a little bit later. Maybe I can do it tonight. And not having that rigidity around, you must do this and it has to happen at this time on this day, every single. That's too much pressure. And nobody likes to be
Yeah.
told what to do, especially by ourselves.
Yeah, I love that you
Um,
said that,
I
because that's
mm,
very important for us, because we think, oh, if I haven't done it, that's it, I'm not doing it anymore. And we sabotage ourselves by giving up there. Oh, I couldn't
yeah.
get it right the first time, so it's not going to work. It's that continuous, no, I'll do it later today or whatever. So thank you for that.
No, that's okay. It's important in that whole, and it's how we see our failures. It's not, well, no, we're just learning.
Yeah.
When we were learning to walk, we didn't know how to walk. The first time we fell down, we didn't go, oh, that's it, I'm not trying ever again,
We'd
because
all
we
be
didn't
on our
have that
bums, wouldn't we?
conditioning. We kept going. The first time we did anything, first time you learnt to drive, and the manual, trying to get the gears and the clutch and the mirrors and the everything, and bunny hopping down the street and spinning the tires. It's like, okay, that wasn't right, but you kept going, and now you can drive without even thinking. So I think give yourself that same consideration when it comes to internal things that you're doing as well. So fantastic. Thank you very much for that, Denise. And I'll just stay on you quickly, Denise, because you were talking about a few different modalities and things, and discovering your passion and your purpose. What would you say to people who are thinking, well, I don't know, there's so much out there. And I'm going to get each of your perspectives on this. There's so much out there that I could do. How do I know which one is going to be right for me to help me get back to me and get into that alignment so that I can manifest more of what I want?
Oh, what sparks you? What really come back and see what lights you up? Is it that when you're like for myself, I remember that it didn't matter who I was around, but I was really quite shy, but people would come to me. I wouldn't have to say anything or do anything. I'd just be standing there. But people would just come and they would tell me their whole life story, or they were saying they would be going through this or they'd be going through that. And I didn't necessarily have to say much. I just held space for them. And then they walked away feeling better and then I make contacts and stuff like that. And I found that that really lit me up. That I didn't, it was just holding a space of love and compassion and helping them move through what they needed to move through. So I always thought from a young age that this is what I wanted to do, but I never knew how to do it. And I never had that confidence to do it. And it took me all that stuff to do it. So it's about go back and see what has lit you up in your life. Go back and like a story and see what has lit you up that you've sort of set back stepped away from and keep stepping away from. It might be photography or it might be, helping people. It might be working with people. It might be coming, giving your time freely to help others. It's about what sparks you, and it is a real curiosity. Write down if I want to do this, what does that look like? It's as simple as if I want to go on a bike tour. What does that look like for me? What would that take? If that's something I'm passionate about, how many hours, because you've got to consider if I'm working, I've got to work out where I can practice. So write that down. And if you're still feeling joy about that, because that's what it's got to feel like, that you move into it with ease and it's something that just comes, then that's the manifestation. It's like I'm writing it down. I'm still really excited about this. I really want to do this. So what do I actually need to do? And then you go from there and you can action. So it's just that real curiosity about self. And really, I always say it always comes back to within and where that sits within you and how that feels within you. And you can iron out all those rough bits by getting curious of what's coming up. So
Yeah.
it's that real, yeah, it's just what sparks you.
Kind of like getting back to, when we were little, what do you want to be when you
Mm,
grow up?
mm,
And everyone sort of poo-pooed that and said, no, you can't do that. What are you going to do to make money? It's like, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? What makes you happy? What thing makes you smile when you think about it? And go from there.
yeah,
If you
totally.
think about it, because that whole, and I've got my kids are teenagers, and the way you can make money these days is just crazy. There is a job called an influencer. What does that even mean? I don't even know what that means. But people are making money doing whatever they want, basically. So it's like there's no limits on
Right.
anything anymore. And you can. What do you want to be when you grow up? My youngest, he loves VR. He's 15 and he plays in a competition. They they win money. So he's getting paid to play video games.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nuts. So this is where let go of all of the what you should be doing and what society expects and just start in that place of it doesn't mean you have to do it, but at least be open. Because when you're open, really magical things can happen.
Yeah, and when you experience that and you go, oh, that I've experienced it, it'll open you up to so much more that you want to give a go, that you actually
And that
want to
help
manifest for yourself. Yeah, because that's the opening of the door, isn't it?
absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Denise. Now, Rosemary, you mentioned a lot of different modalities and things that you have been trained in. So, what would you suggest to people who are coming into this and go, look, I want to do something. I want to turn my life around. I want to change things. I want to be able to manifest more of what I want, but there's so much choice. Where do I even start?
So first of all, I'd like to just talk about what Denise said about people coming up to you. Everything you said was almost, okay, that's what's been happening in my life all these years. Like, oh, we must be spiritual sisters or
Yeah.
something.
You've just got that beautiful, safe, welcoming energy about you where people feel safe.
Yeah. So people, like, before I knew what my purpose was, that's what was happening. And I didn't understand. I just, okay, I want to help people, but I would just, and like even today and other panels that I was on with Sophia, I'm saying things, I'm going, I said that? That came out of my mouth? It's unbelievable when it comes from the heart, what you can do, right? So one of the first things that got me going once I've discovered the name Riva was a documentary on CNN about the blue zones. And I discovered the term ikigai. And it was coined in Japan, where people live in the blue zones, people live to be 100 and over. And so what are they doing? So it was about the community, it was about being active, it was about eating well, and all these other things. So it really piqued an interest. So when I investigated what ikigai is all about, there's 4 things. Think about what you love to do, not what you should be doing, but what do you love to do? Is there a need in the world? Does the world need this? Can you make this a profession? And can you get paid for it? And when you get those circles, there's a Venn diagram with it. In the center is your ikigai. When all those 4 circles align, that's your purpose, your reason for being. That will help you find and get clarity. And so I talk about ikigai, I talk about, like I said, heart mapping. You're just putting what's in your heart on paper. It's another type of vision board. I'll just share my very first heart mapping. I drew a heart in the center and had all these half hearts going off. And I had some saying run, I can't remember. But the thing that struck me, I decided to write my one word, my gifts, like wisdom and, whatever people were telling me. Not that I thought I was wise, but people were telling me. So gifts that I put there. And I drew a box around them. And a few days later, I look at my heart map and I'm going, why did I put a box around those gifts? Am I boxing my gifts and not allowing me to step out of my comfort zone? So I started to draw little doors in those boxes to allow my gifts to come out. And that was actually a subconscious shift for me as well. So yeah, there's a whole bunch.
That's quite powerful because the subconscious works in symbols. And that symbol of the door opening so the gift can release, that's fantastic.
And it's so exciting to see the change that you can make in somebody else with these simple little tips and modalities. I had one lady, she had lost her spark and she decided to open up her Etsy store. Etsy store. And another one, she was an older lady. She was feeling very, very depressed and isolated. It gave her new hope that she can still be useful. Yeah. So we need to go deep into ourselves. And even if it's just writing it on paper, what are your dreams? What do you want? Don't allow the box to be around your dream.
Yeah, beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much. And Charlotte?
I would say that often our minds are chock-a-block with other people's ideas, which we've downloaded for the first 7 years. And so sometimes it's quite hard to decide what you want because actually they're mostly a jumble of, external sort of information or dictates. So I actually have a online course, which is called Meditate and Manifest. And what I did for the first part of it was the clearing. And then the second part is the manifesting. because unless you clear other people's ideas from your mind, from your subconscious mind, it's quite hard to tap in and decide, where you want to go and how you want to get there. Although mostly you don't actually have to decide how you want to get there. It's more just where do you want to get to? And the universe, you will co-create with the universe to get there. And so, yes, I would say that's the main thing. I would also say with Rosemary, it's very much about going into your heart rather than your brain. And I think Denise works with trauma. It's very difficult for people who are stressed or traumatized to be in the right part. Well, first of all, to be in their heart in the first place, but even to be in the right part of the brain. So if you're functioning from sympathetic nervous system overdrive, from the brain stem and from the limbic system and things, this part of the brain here, which is more all about really automatic responses, and just not having that ability to use the prefrontal cortex, which looks at things in the long term and sees that actually I did this last time, or I tried this option last time for a job and it didn't work for me. Sometimes you just don't sort those that information out, that wisdom that you've already accrued in your life. You can't compute it. So I think a lot of it as well is using tools that help you to center. So what sort of things can you use? I mean, it's so easy to have a cup of chamomile tea, right? It's so easy to have a peppermint tea. What do they do? I mean, first of all, chamomile is really good for generalized anxiety disorder. And, herbs have been, there's a lot of research on herbs to show that they work really effectively, and often for mental health more effectively than pharmaceutical remedies. So looking at things like that, what oils can you use? Essential oils can you use to bring your brain waves down into the alpha brainwave band, which is the meditative side, where you can then start connecting more with your heart. So I think using those type of really practical tools that are very easy to access then allows you to be in a position to actually tap into yourself, to actually come into a position where you have a clue about what you could want to do.
Absolutely. And you said some really great things there that I just want to recap for everyone. I think we all know the power of chamomile tea and peppermint tea, and I've got it in my cupboard. I've got the lavender pillow spray next to my bed. So we all know these things. So use them. It's really quite simple. Just use them and not dismiss them, because everything helps. Everything helps you move to where you want to go. And if you love the smells of those and it makes you feel good, you're winning. That is what we're aiming for. Get into that feel good mode. And you were saying before, Charlotte, about how, when all the back of your brain's all lit up because we're in that highly emotion state, we can't think straight. That's proven in brain scans. So if you can get something that just it makes you feel calm, makes you feel that little bit centered, so that you can then think clearly. There's a reason why people say, I'm so angry, I can't even think straight. It's because your brain is doing that to you. So use these things that will help you calm down. It could be go and have a cup of tea. Go and put on a little bit of an essential oil. There's ones called Calm, isn't there? There's anxiety ones. There's all the things that are already ready made for you. You don't have to research it. Just go and buy the thing and use it. And then that just gets you to settle. Maybe going for a walk is going to help you calm down. Maybe it's doing a 5-minute meditation. There are so many different things. So thank you so much, because that was my next question. What is something practical that people can say, right, I can do that. I can go and buy that, and I can use that.
Yeah, interestingly, Helen, on that subject, because you've just brought in food as well, I think it's also identifying what things weaken you. Now, that sounds strange.
Yes.
You're thinking about,
No,
okay,
that
what
is
strengthens
brilliant.
you, but what weakens you? Because the thing is that if your body, we are here on Earth, if your body is weak, then you are going to be much more likely to side or stay within the tribe. Now, that tribe might be not where your dreams are going to be created, but you're going to stay there because you're weak. We know when animals are weak, what happens? They don't go off on their own. They come and they need protection of others around them. And so you're going to more likely stay in the same position rather than moving forward. So I think it's very important that to be able to manifest, you need to have strength, because otherwise you can't go out on your own as an individual.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this comes back to having that awareness again, being aware of what you put in your body and how it makes you feel. And if it feels good, yay. If it doesn't, stop it. Can I just say that? Just stop it. I know that, and that can be tied to lots of different things, that comfort eating, all of that sort of stuff. So if there is stuff going on that makes it hard for you to stop it, then go and get some help. If there's the trauma, go and speak to Denise. If there's other things going on, there is a solution. But I think the most important thing is that you are in a position where you want it and you're ready to take action to find that solution. You don't have to get to the end game. You just need to go, you know what? I want things to change. One decision. And then keep your eyes open. Things will present. And then have that curiosity. All right, I'm going to try this. What does that feel like? Oh, I like that. Good. Keep doing that. Oh, I didn't like that. Okay. Try something else. There's so much variety out there for people, but you've just got to take that action. Rosemary, do you have anything that you'd like to add around, particularly a tip? What's one, because we're going to wrap it up very soon. So if someone's feeling a little bit overwhelmed right now, where do I start? What is one practical mindset shift that you can give them?
Well, you touched on one of them, and I mentioned too, is the awareness. But I think if to change that into the awareness of what we need to change or move is gratitude. If
Yes.
we focus on focus on gratitude, even if it's the smallest little thing, that I have a pair of socks to wear today, right? Or the sun came up today. Somehow, the more we focus on the gratitude of the things that we do have, helps us to make that choice to shift into a higher vibration. So
Absolutely. And this is where it doesn't have to be a big thing. Alignment is it doesn't have to be a big deal, because you can choose how you perceive something. And that gratitude, Rosemary, is fantastic. That gratitude will always lift your vibration. And when you've got a higher vibration, the law of attraction has to bring you things that match that vibration. And if you are finding it hard to be in gratitude, because sometimes that is, I remember someone said to me years ago, every day, write down 5 things that you're grateful for. Some days it was really hard, and I do it through gritted teeth. I am grateful for my family. I love my children. They're wonderful. And that's not actually going to get you anywhere, because you don't feel grateful. You're just lip service. Talk is cheap.
It's important to feel it.
Exactly. Because the universe doesn't understand words, it understands vibration. And your words and your vibration have to match. And so if you're struggling with the whole gratitude thing, find something to be that you appreciate. You can sort of come in from the side and lead into that gratitude. If you've got a big phone bill, or if you've got a big electricity bill, that's something quite a hot topic here in Australia, and it's like, it's easy to get into they're ripping us off and it shouldn't be this and it shouldn't be that, and I've got no money, and it's easy to fall into that. However, if you can take that step back and go, you know what? Yeah, I've got this big bill, but I'm so glad that I have electricity. I appreciate that I can walk into a room and turn on a light, that I can make dinner, that I can have a fridge, that I can do washing, that I don't have to hand scrub my clothes. So it's about having that little bit of a step back and going, you know what, I do appreciate. Don't look at that, because what you focus on is what it affects how you feel. And that's what you're going to bring more of into your life, things that match that energy. So if you can just take that step back. So I love that tip, Rosemary. Thank you very much.
What's that saying there? Where your focus goes, your energy flows. I think I've got it right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always mess that one up, but keep that simple phrase.
Yes. Yep. That's exactly right. Denise, what's one simple, practical mindset shift that you can give the listeners today?
I think you've all touched on it, but I always like when I'm working with someone and they're saying, "Oh, well, so I'm not really happy with so and so," and I always say, "Well, I need you, can you reframe that? Yes, I'm not happy with so and so," or a perfect one is that I'm always tired. And I said, yeah, but finish it off with, I'm always tired, but I have the ability to keep going. I have the ability to finish that. Because if we're finishing the sentence in a positive, that's what our mind captures. That's what our brain hangs on to. It's not because what I'm doing is turning that negative into a positive. So as if I can't pay the bills this week, but I'm so happy that I have a job that gives me the ability to keep at it so I can pay as much as I can. That's really reframing what I'm feeling. I'm so angry at the world today, but I know I'll get through this. My children are aggravating me to no end, but I know I'm strong enough to carry what I need to carry and to still love them immensely. So when we're finishing off like that, and it's not easy. It's not easy because our go-to is straight to the reactive. And if we're going into the reactive, it's a matter of that awareness. Because sometimes we go in and we go full on and we're aware that we're doing it, but we're still choosing. And even I'm still choosing this, but I know I can change. So it's really adding that last bit onto it to give myself permission to change, to give myself permission to change the way that I'm actually going. Yes, I mucked it up right now and I went full in, but I know next time that I'll be more aware. And that is a great thing to do as well. Ask yourself, give yourself permission to be aware of how I am, how I behave. If you're giving yourself that permission, instead of beating yourself up, it's be aware. Ask yourself give myself permission. I'm okay of being aware because I know I can move through this. It's not going to be cookies and cream. It's going to be but I can do it. So it's adding those little things, go with the Nike ad, you can do it, So it's just adding that on to the end because we all start from that place and it's just going, oh, this is too hard, but I know I have the ability to do it when I'm ready, and I might
love
not
that,
do it for a
Denise.
week. Yeah. So,
Yeah, that is such a powerful tip that you've given there in just that little reframe. And like you said, it's going to take practice, and that's okay because the more you practice, the better you get at it. But having that awareness and then turning it around to what it is that you do want instead. And, it will take people a minute to start to change their language, but they can do it if they keep going at it. And even if it's having that awareness of this is what I don't want and this is what I do want, and just in that moment being aware of what you don't want and then putting that but and then saying this is what I do want, that is going to get you on the right track. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're not getting up on stage and presenting it to anyone. It just has to make you feel good and have that little bit of a shift in what you're saying and where your focus is. And the more you can do that, the easier it's going to be.
Yeah, and that
So, ladies, thank
narrative
you.
of that
Mm,
narrative of kindness to self, because you're always going to,
yes.
oh, I stuffed it up. And then we go into that narrative
You
of
say
doubt.
that to your child, you know?
And it's
Think
like,
about it like that, you know? Talk to yourself the way you would talk to the person you love the most in the world. If they made a mistake, what would you say to them? And then that's how you treat yourself.
yeah.
Keep it nice and simple.
And also, I think just remember that it takes time for the brain to rewire. So
Yes.
even if you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to 21 days is a good starting point. So even saying to yourself, I'm going to be kind to myself, or I'm going to change my attitude, or I'm going to work on this particular mindset for 21 days and tick it off each day and go, great, another day gone to the 21 days.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Do what works for you. Find something that works. And if on day 7 you weren't that kind to yourself, at the end of the day, go, you know what? I wasn't real nice to myself. I'm going to do better tomorrow.
That's awareness.
That is a win. It's an awareness. It's turning it around, because we're not perfect. Life happens. We are going to react to different things in different ways. The more we can have that awareness, the more that we can make those conscious decisions to do something differently. And if one of those decisions is I need extra help, go and do that. Because at the end of the day, how you feel matters. And the more you can feel good within yourself, the more that radiates out to other people as well. We've all experienced going into a room and there's that heavy energy, and we've gone, oh, and turn around and want to walk out of there. And we've experienced where we've been around someone who just makes us feel good, and we want to gravitate to that. So be the person that you want others have, that ripple effect. It's got to start with you. That's come out very, very awkwardly, hasn't it? When you feel good about yourself, that's what you're rippling out. So focus on how you feel.
And
That's all
also,
we ever have control of.
and when that changes comes, you attract
Yeah,
those other people who are sitting at that same vibration will appear in your life. And those
exactly.
that aren't there, they'll fall away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how the law of attraction works.
Mm.
All right, ladies, we do need to wrap it up. So a very, very big thank you to my lovely guests here, Rosemary, Charlotte, and Denise. Thank you so much for sharing your stories, for sharing your wisdom, for sharing your tools and your tips. I'm sure everyone has taken something away from this today. And just remember, manifesting, we're always manifesting. So it's not that you need to do more or try harder. You need to really sort out your vibration. It's about how you feel, okay? And how you feel now is the powerful part. And what you're doing now is the powerful part. Something's going on, you're not feeling good. Now is when you need to refocus. Go for that walk, do that meditation, reframe it. This isn't working, or this is hard, but I know that I'll be able to get there in the end. All right. Use the tips. Reach out to any of these lovely ladies if you've resonated with what they're saying and you'd like to learn more. Reach out and have that conversation. And I'll bring Sophia back in now. She can talk a little bit more about Sacred You and how to contact these lovely ladies. And I just want to remind you all that you are more powerful than you think. All right. You do have everything inside you. It's just a matter of reconnecting with that and allowing it to come out into the open. Sophia.
Thank you, Helen. And yes, I totally agree. And I want to thank you for taking that into my heart. You are more powerful than you think. And for everyone who is watching our replay or our live, do take that into your heart too. Remember. And as Helen said, click on the links below to reach out to all these amazing women who have just given up an hour of their time. And I want to honor everyone. Helen, thank you for facilitating a wonderful panel discussion. And Rosemary, who's tuning in from overseas, and Denise and Charlotte early in the morning here. Really, I've been listening to so many notes, so many tips. I just really, truly love it about how we can align, how we can raise our vibration and align ourselves with whatever we want to manifest. So really, really appreciate it. And while you're there, again, connect with Sacred You by the links below, or check us out at Sacred You, that's the letter U, .love. We've got panel discussions coming up, more wisdom circles from the wonderful Helen, and so much more on offer. So do check us out very soon. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.